voila, okay. Microphones are on, okay. This is the monthly, this will be the May monthly meeting of the Woodbridge Board of Finance. It is Thursday, May 18th, in the year of 2017. And the first item on our agenda is public comments. Any public comments? No? Okay. Next is our administrative officer report. Tony?
Thank you, Matt. So we have your report through April, and the result is a surplus of a little over $500,000. So our projected fund balance is just at $5 million, or 10.55% of our annual expenditures. So we're doing well there. A big change in the intergovernmental revenue is an extra $100,000 in special ed excess cost grant funds, which helped to boost the surplus to the $500,000, over the $500,000. And the other items are familiar from previous months. Interest income, $45,000 surplus, and the $70,000 due to the sale of golf equipment. The assessor's office has a surplus of $10,000 from a vacant position, and Center Building has a surplus of $7,500 from utility costs. These are some of the major items. Waste management is a surplus of $20,000 from lower than anticipated bulky waste disposal. Parks Department is a surplus of $30,000 due to a elimination of a foreman position, which happened halfway through the year. Debt service is will experience $122,000 surplus because of the issuance of debt on the Beecher School project. There's a timing issue there. And finally, the benefits budget has about an $80,000 surplus, largely due to savings in healthcare from vacant positions and coverage changes. So those are our major items, which bring us close to the $500,000.
So once again, the $400,000 that we've allocated, we won't have to.
We don't have to use that
use that
because of the items I just described.
Okay. How does it look as we head towards the end of the year?
It's looking pretty good. We're going to have some funds in contingency, and that we have to decide how you want to handle that. We are having an issue in next year's healthcare, and I've budgeted for 15%. It looks like the increase is going to come in above that, so we may have a deficit next year in healthcare, which we may have to cover if we don't get the coverage changes or other issues that sometimes help out in that category.
And that'll affect the Board of Ed also.
Correct. It also affects the Board of Ed, yes. And they budgeted for less of an increase, I think 10%.
10%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they have a similar problem with their health care. So that's it. Yeah.
Any other questions for Tony?
Great results. Really terrific.
The Woodbridge Board of Ed, Sandy will defer to you on that. I'm sure you're going to talk
Yep,
about it.
I will.
State budget update. This ought to be good.
So the two items I want to bring to your attention, I'm sure you've read all about it in some of the newspaper, but the first I want to bring to your attention is the cap on the autos. There's been a lot of discussion about keeping that at 37. As you know, we had dropped ours to 32, which then increases the mill rate on real estate more, because you have to make up for the loss in auto taxes. So if that is the case, last year they did the same thing, where they were going to supposed to go to 32 and they kept it at 37. Last year they had allowed towns that had already approved their mill rate to go back and adjust their mill rate by some process if the town decided they wanted to. So we will keep an eye out for that, and if that is the case this year, we'll bring it to your attention. And I forgot what the process was. I don't know if you have to, if it's done by the legislative body or the finance board, or I don't remember because it didn't impact us last year. But there was a method to do that if you want to bring it back up to 37 and lower the mill rate on the real estate.
Just adjust.
It's just adjustment, yeah.
So that has to be done though prior to July 1.
Correct. Prior to when Pat does the tax bills,
Right.
which is, I think, usually sometime in June, in what, beginning of June, maybe? So we've got a few weeks. And so the second issue I want to bring to your attention is the governor's estimates on statutory formula grants, which was just released on the 15th of May. And so these are the formula grants the town received in FY17, $1.18 million. So almost $1.2 million. The original suggestion, which was back in February, was for FY18 $693,000. So you can see there's roughly a $600,000 deficit that we'd have to make up. The new number is the town would have to pay $873,000. So the difference between the what we receive and the new figure was about $2 million. So,
How about West Hartford?
and what I want to bring to your, I can tell you West Hartford.
Oh, it's
I have right here in front of me.
It's mind-boggling.
They had $25 million in
29
revenue,
million or something?
and they would be getting 1.3 million.
Yeah.
So it's $24 million reduction.
Yeah, West
right.
Hartford.
The thing I do want to bring to your attention is,
This is devastating.
That is
It's going to be
staggering.
devastating
it
status.
is devastating, yeah.
The reason I know they interviewed the mayor.
Oh my
The
God.
town,
Saying, we're gonna have to close schools, get rid of our fire department. It was
the only grant,
there's no
the
way-
only grant we receive that we keep is $240,000 for town road aid.
Yeah.
The rest of it, so
Pequot is going.
Pequot's gone, and the rest of it's all education related.
The lottery money's going, everything's going.
Yeah, the, and we pay,
Oh my God.
let's see, teacher's retirement, I've got it right here.
Max, you're going to have a mass exodus from the state.
We'd pay $1.3 million for teachers' retirement. That's the big item. Of the 2 million, 1.3 is teachers' retirement.
Oh, that's included in that.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens.
So I'm not sure that'll happen.
It still isn't right.
If that part doesn't happen, it
Although
we're not. It doesn't impact
I
us
must
that
say it
much.
was rather disconcerting to hear Femis Clarita say, "Well, it's a good start." That's what wasn't what they were saying a
Right.
ways back. It was
Right.
like, "No, there's no way." And
Right.
now she's kind of saying, "Well, that's a good start."
Good start to what?
Good start to
The real issue
ruining
is
the
that
towns
no
and
matter where you
cities.
start, and no matter where you finish,
Yeah.
you have a serious problem.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly the point. Yeah.
It's a serious problem. And the numbers are staggering.
You're going to see towns go bankrupt. I think that's what I think is going to happen.
So what do you
Yeah.
feel is the range, Tony, of, the lowest number and the highest number?
I honestly, it all depends on that teacher's retirement. That's almost $1.4 million. If
Of the 2 million?
yeah,
Okay.
if that doesn't happen, we don't get much in other aid. We get 10,000 and 15,000 in Pequot, 600,000 in, assuming they keep the town road aid. If that doesn't happen, they'll probably be back to the $600,000 number,
Okay, so it's from 600
to 2 million. And that 1.3 million is the teacher's retirement piece.
Okay. Anything
And
else?
so, and then you have
We got
three
six-
options.
We got 13 days this month and then 43 days to go. We got 6 weeks
You have three options.
before we're going to know it.
You won't know this for a while, I don't
Yeah,
think.
really, even after July 1st?
Possibly, yeah.
Wonderful.
I heard into.
So we
you have
send
three
our tax-
options.
we send our
Yeah,
tax bills out.
Right. So you have three options, as I see it. You send your tax bills out. One is to use existing fund operations through attrition, through putting off capital projects. Maybe you don't hire someone right away, or you have a vacancy and you keep the vacancy. Stuff like that. That's one way to address it. Another way is fund balance, because that's what fund balance is for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unusual circumstances.
Yep.
Or you have to send out supplementary tax
Supplemental
bills,
tax bills, right.
like we had to when Amity had the deficit.
Right.
We sent out supplemental tax
Right.
bills, if you remember.
That was peanuts compared to this, though.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's a sort of, or some combination.
Well,
Yep.
we'll have to decide. Well, I don't know who's going to.
Interesting times ahead.
Maybe we
Whoever
will be
has-
deciding that.
Interesting times ahead, I
Be
can
a
just tell you that
whole
much.
new group of people deciding that. That'll be a good way to start on the Board of Finance, huh? Okay.
So, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Other, just two updates for me, Tony. We had requested that the insurance company look at the pool issue and the
Yes.
building inspector. We
Yeah.
never really heard the outcome of that.
Yeah, so the insurance company weighed in on the pool and just weighed in that the coverage was there, whether you fixed it or not, but that strongly advised that you fix the report, stuff in the report because of the liability piece, not the policy, not the coverage of the, right. So we went through there and we addressed all the issues in the report with the building official, who had some very good ways to fix it, but without spending a lot of money.
Okay,
He had
great.
very pragmatic, very sensible ways to fix a lot of the issues without really spending a lot of money. So that was the first thing. We also had an expensive solution to the backwash system.
Oh, the filter.
Yeah,
Oh,
which was, and it was just approved by the health district actually. So it is now currently working. And
Who
basically,
figured that out?
Brad and Terry, Brad Parsons
That's
and our
great.
building official,
wow.
and worked with our mechanics.
Mhm.
And what we do is we pump the water when backwashing into a tank,
Mhm.
and then we cart it away with an old fire tanker that we had into a place where we can dispose of it properly.
Oh.
So there's actually no reason to replace the filter as of
Oh,
yet.
good.
Okay.
Awesome.
So there's a few challenges that still lie ahead.
Do we have to pay to dispose of it?
No.
Good.
That's true.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Keep us posted.
Okay.
Well, that's good ingenuity.
Yeah. So
All right, funding requests. We have a number.
so before we get into funding requests, I just wanted to review the
Yes.
contingency sheet.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you'll see that the balance there is 414.
Yep.
And part of one of the ones today is for part of the salary increase due to negotiations. You'll notice that some of the departments are not in there, and those are the departments that might have it within their own budget to cover it. Police,
really?
Public Works. For instance, in police, there are some vacant positions for a number of months. So it's possible that the police department will be able to cover those increases within their budget.
I wondered why they weren't there.
That's why they're not in there. Same thing with Public Works and a couple of the other departments. So that's sort of a wait and see approach, but I'm hopeful that that's the case. So that's one thing I want to bring to your attention. The other thing is there are a few things in June that you'll be seeing, to give you a heads up, aside from possibly some additional salaries, although I don't think so. There was an issue in the fire department, which you all are aware of, with their equipment, which we had indicated that we would see if they had it in their budget first, and then if not, we would possibly address that, where it's a wait and see approach there. There's this healthcare issue that it will exist next year. There's possibly some, or you can just simply return it to fund balance, and then you have a bigger fund balance to use next year for whatever happens. I mean, there's a number of ways to.
I'd rather offset, personally, I'd rather offset taxes. But let's wait
Okay.
until June, our final meeting.
Yep.
So we'll
Okay.
have the healthcare number finalized
Yes.
at that point.
Yes.
So we can make that decision.
You make that
Okay.
decision, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that to
Funding
your attention. Yeah.
The first is 1617-26. It's $109,165, and as Tony referred to, it's from our contingency to various departments, and I'll move acceptance of request for funding 1617-26 in the amount of $109,165.
Second?
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye?
Right.
Okay. Next is a line item transfer within the Public Works Department. Transfer requested for vehicle repair costs. I'll move acceptance of line item transfer 1617-27 in the amount of $3,000. Any discussion on this? All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Another line item transfer within Public Works to address dead and dying trees due to the emerald ash borer disease, which we've heard a lot about. And I will move acceptance of line item transfer 1617-28 in the amount of $10,000.
Second.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
So is this tree removal then? Is it cutting down?
Cutting down trees, yeah.
Okay. And are we using someone outside of the town to do that, or is our town employee?
No, it's a contractor.
It's a contract?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
All those in favor? Aye. Next, we have a request for funding from our contingency fund to building maintenance for $6,000 to replace failed air conditioning unit at the police department. And I will move acceptance of request for funding 1617-30 in the amount of $6,000. Anything you want to mention about that, Tone?
No, but there is something that reminded me of after you finish.
Okay. So basically
It failed,
I'm
and
sure
it's,
there's
it's for the
numerous-
radio room.
I'm sure there's numerous units up there,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's just one of the.
It's up on the roof?
It's on the, yeah, and it's for the radio room that we have all our communications in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye.
The thing I wanted to bring to your attention for, that you used for contingency is the boiler over at the center building. If you remember, had a crack in it.
Yes.
We're currently looking at whether it makes sense to switch to hot water, or stay with steam, and how much it would cost to convert, and how much you'd save, and all that other stuff. So that's the big item that I forgot about for the contingency.
Okay.
We didn't. I didn't put it purposely in the budget because we knew we'd have some funds remaining.
Okay.
Did you ever get the report done?
Not yet. It's almost finished. Yeah.
Okay, next and last, the last request is a request for funding of $16,675, and it's for a hip shade shelter at Pease Playground. I'll move acceptance of request for funding 1617-31 in the amount of $16,675.
Second.
Give us the scoop on this, Tony.
This is a shelter that was part of the playground project that was cut from the budget because there wasn't enough funding at that time. It provides shade at the playground. If you've ever been there, there's not much else, or not many other places for shade. And it's something that the felt very strongly that we should have there for selectmen and some of the other members.
Okay. I'm assuming that this will get that up to speed. There won't be any more.
No, this is it. This would be the last
Nothing else
expenditure.
they're
This
gonna-
is the only thing remaining in the budget that wasn't funded.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Paul, would you please pass these down to Karen, because she accuses me of stealing them all the time. Always guilty in her eyes. She calls me at home. I tell her I don't have them, and then I do have them. Karen, I don't have them. What are you calling me for? Oh, there they are.
That blue folder, you know, right? Should stick out.
I was about to say, that's
Okie dokie, let's see now. Let's do approval of minutes. Our first minutes we have are a meeting. It was a special meeting on Monday, April 24th, for purposes of the SRO and a bunch of other things. I'll move acceptance of the meeting of Monday, April 24th, the minutes of the meeting of April 24th as presented.
Second.
Any discussion, adjustments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. And then the meeting of the other night, where we set the mill rate, I'll move acceptance of the minutes of Monday, May 15th as presented.
Second.
Any discussion, adjustments? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Preliminary suspense list. This is I'm sure we've all heard about this. This is a state statute. We have to move certain items in, but our tax collector continues
Still
to
try to collect them, yeah.
and in some cases, they're successful. Is there a total here? I don't think they total.
No, they're never totaled.
Well, there's a few. There's one big one. I'm assuming. Is it possible, Tony, some of these are leaned? Like I see one back
absolutely.
here for $5,000.
Yes, the real estate ones are lean.
Right. So we do put them in suspense, but there's a lien on them.
Of course, absolutely.
So they're very
Yeah.
possible they'll be collected.
Yeah, they'll be collected. It's just that it's removed from an active
Right.
So actually, I have
collection.
a question. What is, when it's categorized as warrant, what does that mean?
What do you mean?
So underneath some of the items, it says warrant, W-A-R-R-A-N-T.
Uh-huh.
So is that a warrant that was issued to?
Correct, yeah,
Okay, for
Yeah.
a violation of something?
correct. Yeah, it's
Okay.
the tax warrant, basically.
Okay, a
Yeah.
tax.
Yeah, that they were issued.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a notice that the tax collector sends out.
So it's not a police warrant?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I'll move acceptance.
No, you don't have to do it, it's just
Oh.
your review tonight.
I don't have to sign it?
No, that's
No,
fine.
if you have any questions, we can, I'll have her put a total if you think that's helpful.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Appointment of auditors, Mr. Genovese.
So, we'd like to recommend RSM as our auditor this year, for this year's audit. It's part of a 4-year bid that we had done just recently.
Can they give us a discount? I'm just really kidding. You don't have to answer.
We're gonna have a lot of fun auditing this year.
Yeah.
Just, do you know the amount roughly? It's 30-something.
It's like 35,000.
Yeah, that's our portion, and then the Board of Ed is an
Yeah.
additional
So you,
18, I think.
18.
so I'll
Yeah,
make a motion that we appoint RSM, that's their
Yeah.
new name,
yeah,
as auditors for fiscal year 2017, 2018.
2017 is the year.
That's true. Well,
Yeah, yeah,
2017.
yeah,
Oh, that's right, it's the year we're just wrapping up.
right.
Second? Discussion? All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay. Liaison reports, we had an Amity meeting, not this past Monday, the Monday before. Things are pretty much status quo. We've got about a $750,000 surplus, which we'll see what happens as the year winds down and start having discussions.
Make sure they're aware we're gonna have some financial challenges,
Yes.
of which they're
I don't have to. Orange does all the time. I just sit there and let Orange take care of it. So,
Okay.
matter of fact, their budget's being voted on tonight, Orange, so that'll be interesting. But other than that, there was Bill Blake, the chairman of the board, is moving, so he's going to be leaving. And one of the board members in the meeting was upset about something to do with the SRO. It's the memorandum of understanding, and it had something to do with and she was so upset she resigned. So Bill, and she was the heir apparent to Bill Blake, so she was the vice chairman. So Bill is leaving, she left, and so I don't know what's going to happen now, but they're going to have to come up with a new chair. So, but everything's going well there. So, Paul, you have anything?
Yeah. Sean's continuing to work on the radio system. He has a rough estimate of about 1.9 mil.
No, that's all.
Yeah. Good project.
Yep.
In addition to that, they're doing the tower project over the police station and so on and so forth. Part of which we're going to use a steep grant, but that's not part of the 1.9 mil.
It's not, no.
Also, I mentioned a couple of months ago a dispatch software that they're looking to purchase jointly with the PD. It's basically software that will guide dispatchers through different scenarios. So if somebody's calling in with a certain type of emergency, the software will guide them through the steps, the questions they should ask, the things they should ask the person on the site to do, and so on and so forth, while they're dispatching emergency services. The cost for that should be around $100,000 between the two departments. In the meantime, they will probably acquire a card set that does something similar. It's just not as sophisticated and can't be updated for probably around $5,000 to $10,000 between the time they purchase this, which is probably a year out, and now. So they want the card set now and the software in about a year. That's true. And also, they're working on the specs for Engine 3, which the specs would be ready the soonest July 1st, probably a little bit later than that.
So we all do remember that the Board of Finance gave them approval to spec out a new truck.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Big.
Just want to make sure.
I never-
Yeah, that's the way we do it, right, Tony? Basically, the Board of Selectmen are made aware of it, and then we kind of come to a consensus.
Correct. Just-
Even though, we never, by the
We
time
haven't
the truck is
allocated the
ordered.
money.
No,
Yeah, but we
Given
did,
them
but we did
permission,
tell them to
yes.
go ahead and.
Yeah.
So they don't spend all that time,
Right.
and effort putting together the
Right.
specs and then,
Yep.
Yeah.
have a problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So is the 100,000 going to be a capital budget request then from the two departments?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be a capital budget request separately, or it's sort of tied into the radio project, sort of, if you replace the console and the equipment there.
Okay.
It's kind of, sort of related there,
Okay.
so you could,
So it could be part
you
of
could
that
be part of, you
project.
can make it part of that project.
Okay.
And most likely that project would only be a 10-year bond anyway, like the last one.
Right.
Because that equipment tends to
Yeah.
be obsolete after
Yeah.
10 years.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
that's an option too.
I like it better.
Karen, Ann, do you
Yeah.
have anything?
Yeah, we do.
Nothing, okay. Andrew Esposito
Yeah, the
Jr.?
most meaningful thing from the police meeting was the fact that their overtime is down.
Okay, good.
And that's because they've been able to redeploy some officers,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not as short-staffed as they were.
Good.
So overtime is down significantly.
Right, yeah.
Which was
It
the
is,
hope,
yeah.
which was the
Well,
hope.
that was a good news.
Right.
That's been their Achilles tendon for a long time.
Sure. And there haven't been any bank robberies either.
I'm sorry?
There haven't been any bank robberies either.
Well, we're just getting into the summer.
Sandy?
Okay, the Library Commission met on May 8th, and the Friends of the Library is holding their book sale the first weekend in June, just to remind everybody. That is a big fundraiser for them. The library did receive 2 new gifts related to adult programming, which is a really nice addition for them. They also, there are 2 boilers also in the library.
Yes.
Right? And one of those
Yep.
boilers also has a crack in it.
Wait, but, excuse me, what's going on? What are they digging up?
The
It's the
microgrid.
microgrid.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yes, they do. They have,
They're digging up everything.
Right. So they have a boiler issue that we'll need to pay attention to in fiscal year 18. And also there is a leak in the Woodbridge room that needs some investigation from the roof. So just beware. They're very happy that a new sign is going to be put up for the electrical vehicle station that indicates that anyone can actually park there. There have been there's some controversy in terms of who's allowed to park there.
Oh, really?
Yep. A new Lion director, probably at this point, has been offered a position, which is great because that's the group that our library belongs to, that provides a lot of services to the library. And to leave that leaderless kind of is a vulnerability. So they did finally find someone who they are very enthusiastic about. And it looks like Eric may become the treasurer of Lion, so he's getting more involved.
Yes.
And
good.
which is really good, I think. Summer hours, they are proposing to cut out Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. during the summer. So that will come forward. And then the Woodbridge Board of Ed met on the same evening. They actually are projecting the deficit that they will not be able to cover as of the end of April is $58,188.
That's another contingency item.
So, right,
Yeah.
exactly. And,
Dwindling as we speak.
It is, right. I
yeah,
wouldn't-
right, it goes fast.
That's the end of that warm feeling.
Just so you're aware, the special ed deficit for the year is about $370,000. So it's that remaining 58 that they think they're going to have a problem covering, but they're still May and June, so they're trying their best. We did go over the budgets for the summer enrichment program, the extended day program, and the school lunch program. And I have to say, we're very fortunate in this town in terms of the involvement of the teachers in all of these programs, and the fact that our lunch program basically breaks even is kind of unheard of in the rest of the state. So we're just very lucky to have such dedicated program directors and staff, and what we have really to offer the children of Woodbridge. That's it,
Okay.
besides the healthcare issue.
Yeah.
They're concerned about that.
Right.
So,
We've met with them jointly, so we're working on it with them and whatever, so. Is there anything else? All right, before we leave, June 15th, 4 weeks from tonight, eat a light lunch.
okay.
And we'll see you that day. I'll make a motion that we adjourn. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
What was the date again?